This is my only Pokemon game that I have. I know, I'm a fake fan, man. Psych. These are all the Pokemon games that I have as of 2025. I made a short about this, but this will be the full, oh, not fully in-depth, but decently in-depth video. Though technically my first Pokemon game would be Pokemon Go. That's more of a mobile game. However, for consoles, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Rumble World. In August of 2018, when I was moving from 5th grade, I believe. Yeah, 5th grade year, I was moving. One of my friends gave me his copy of Pokemon Rumble World as a goodbye gift. Very nice effort from him. However, I don't know what he did to this game, but I'd hit level 5 and then the game would just stop working. I don't know. Though, the effort was nice, but bro, I'd be getting so mad about this. So mad. Then I got Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon for my 12th birthday back in 2019 at GameStop. You can tell because the GameStop sticker's there. I enjoyed it decently, enough. Not a bad game. It's just wasn't what I was looking for in a Pokemon game. What I was really looking for would have been what Ultra Sun was. Which with Ultra Sun, Sun and Moon, I was around for that generation. Obviously, when that came out 2016, 2017, I was 9 to 10 years old. Though I didn't really get into the hype train till like afterwards for Ultra Sun and Moon, or just Sun and Moon in general. I remember when back when Walmart used to have 3DS games, this was like in 21, I got it in 21. It was like the last few remaining survivors of 3DS games at Walmart, and I picked it up. Which coincidentally was the same day that I got both Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I got these at a retro game store before I got Ultra Sun. Now, don't ask me which one I think is better, Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire, because they're basically the same game, just with two different legendary Pokemon and small plot differences here and there. I just chose Omega Ruby first because I've always liked Groudon's design. Nothing against Kyogre. I plan to play Alpha Sapphire, but I love Omega Ruby. I really like this game. Now that I've discussed and talked about when I got them, I'm going to be discussing my each individual experiences with each game. I already said what I needed to say about Rumble World. Super Mystery Dungeon, I found it confusing because it's like a role-playing like RPG, which I know Pokemon itself is an RPG, but it's like kind of like almost like a JRPG or whatever the term I'm looking for, I can't think of. So I don't really have any interesting experience with it. That nothing memorable or funny, I should say. However, with Ultra Sun, I have so many funny experiences with Ultra Sun. I mean, I just like the game. I remember I'd see the character, I'm like, yo, it's so-and-so from Pokemon, the anime Sun and Moon. I'm like, yo, it's Malo and Lana and so on and so forth. And then, the Guzma with his rapping and the Team Skull, that was fun. But my team for Ultra Sun consisted of Decidueye, Punchy, she's a Hariyama, of course, Zoroark, Blotchy, he's an Inkay, Slowbro, and I almost laughed, Solgaleo. Sorry about that. And it took me 5 times to beat the Elite Four in Ultra Sun. It was because of the flying trainer, from what I remember. That was the one trainer. I forgot her name, but she was giving me the hardest time. The hardest, but I enjoyed this game. And I didn't beat all of it, I still have some post-game stuff to do, but the portals and stuff was pretty cool. Seeing, what's Lily's mom was calling, like, yo, it's Lily from the anime, and then seeing Cosmog. That was cool. Next up, my experiences with Pokemon Omega Ruby. With Omega Ruby, my team consisted of Sceptile, Swallow, Explode, Mightyena, Asmaril, and Rayquaza. And it took me one time to beat the Elite Four. Like I said, got this in 21. I've been playing it here and there. I'll pick it up every now and then, along with the other 3DS games. Every couple months or so, I'll plug up my 3DS, charge, and play, some games with it. It was cool seeing Rayquaza because I've always liked his design. I always found the dragon design cool. Like I said, I haven't played Alpha Sapphire yet, but it's on my to-do list. I don't want to, tick off the Kyogre fans. I will play it eventually. Now that I discussed the 3DS games and my experiences with them, it's time to move on to the Switch Pokemon games, which I would say is probably my favorite. I know opinion on the internet differs because they start good and then the games get a little bit more bad and bad, or it's not really bad. No, yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, the bugs and the glitches and whatnot. But I still enjoy these games. Well, at least 3 of these. I ain't gonna lie, I got Violet in 24 for my 17th birthday, and I've yet to touch that game. But anyway, we're gonna be discussing individual experience with each when I got them. Yeah. Starting off with Let's Go Pikachu. Now, I wasn't oblivious to Pokemon games. I knew of them, especially this one, when this one was coming out in 2018. I remember playing the demo, like the little couple demos at Target. Remember when they used to do those at Target and Walmart, the demo of video games? They probably still do, but I haven't seen it as much. But the demo, and I caught a Rattata, and I'm like, yo, this is kind of cool. I was like, I'll get this game. And then I didn't get the game till 2 years later for my 13th birthday in 2020. So, though technically Pokemon Go is my first game, and then after that, technically Rumble World was my first game, I like to consider Let's Go Pikachu to be my first mainline game. You know, and I've had the best experience with this game. It's probably one of my favorite video games of all time. And I have a long list of that, but that's for future preference. Not future preference, that's for future wise. Now, obviously, I got to talk about my team and Let's Go Pikachu, so yeah, let's go. All right, my team consisted of, obviously, Pikachu, which I have a funny story. I remember I loaded the game. I had gotten a male Pikachu. Then I accidentally, like, backspace or whatever. I was like, I want no, it was a female. I was like, I want a male Pikachu. And then, you know, I got stuck with a female Pikachu. I didn't mind. I just wanted the Thunderbolt because I was trying to be like, Ash, catch him, because I feel like that's relatable for most Pokemon fans. You watch the Pokemon show, you're like, oh, I got to follow everything that Ash does, even though Ash doesn't make the most logical decisions. But hey, he's still one of the most famous characters of all time. So I stuck with the female Pikachu. I will love her, though. She's one of my favorite Pokemon that I've ever had on any team. She's done so much. I love my Pikachu. And I like her tomboy attitude. Then I had Mewtwo. Well, no, I didn't catch Mewtwo first, obviously. I had Pidgey. Then it turned into Pidgeot. And Pidgeot was rocking with the crew. But then, you know, after a while, his spot was getting like interchanged. Like I changed from Pokemon to Pokemon to Pokemon for that. And then I got a Rapidash that I traded with. I traded like a couple Pokemon for my friend who gave me a level 37 Rapidash, and he's awesome. My Rapidash, both my friend and the Rapidash, they're very cool. I love them. Then obviously I got Bulbasaur, Blastoise, and Charizard, or Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. But you know, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. I remember getting them. I'm like, oh, I'm like Ash. I'm like Ash, catch him with his team. Let's go. I'm like, I got the 3 starters like Ash does. Um, Surprisingly, for my first Pokemon game, it took me one time to beat the Elite Four. I was nervous. You know, I was like, oh God, I'm like, I'm gonna fail. I'm like, they're gonna destroy me. Because my friend who had the game, like, had gotten the game like 2 years before I did, he talked about how it took him 2 times to beat them. So I was surprised that I beat them the first time. I was like, oh my goodness, like this is crazy. This is insane. This is awesome. Though, you know, that I got humbled really quickly after my first beat of the Elite Four, because when I went to fight Mewtwo in Cerulean Cave, he wiped my whole team. Like, he solo he destroyed my whole team. I'm like, I got wrecked by Mewtwo. Then I had to look up because I'm like, oh no, Mewtwo's gone forever. I had to look up, it's like, no, you just got to fight the Elite Four again. So I'm like, okay, another fight with them. You know, I'd say the hardest member of the Elite Four was probably Lance with the Dragon types, but I still, you know, came in clutch. Then I caught Mewtwo, and ever since then, he's been a part of my team. It took me 2 tries to catch Zapdos because the first time I accidentally clicked giving up on it. I was like, no. And then the second, you know, I had to wait for him to spawn again. But that was cool. Next Pokemon Switch game, Pokemon Sword. I got this in Christmas of 2020. And oh boy, I don't know what was going on with me when I was playing this game, because I beat the story mode within like 2 weeks. Not saying that's bad. Like, I took my time with Let's Go Pikachu. I was enjoying it because, you know, I was like, oh, I'm catching this Pokemon and that Pokemon. I was enjoying doing little side tasks, but like, I don't know why in Sword I was like, nah, I just got to snap, just go, 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 go. So I didn't fully enjoy the experience or like the experience, but that's not the game's fault. That's my fault for trying to rush so quickly. Anyway, my team consists of Cinderace, not Cinder, you get what I mean. Score Bunny, Cinderace. If you know who I'm referring to, then you know. Sparky, she's a Bolton, and I love her. She's one of the most valuable players in my team. Thievul, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be doing Thievul dirty because I mainly use Thievul as like a hit damage, like when I need to heal others, I'm like take one for the team, and it's like getting absolutely destroyed. Chewy, he's a Dreadnought. I love Chewy. He's one of my favorite Pokemon on the team in Sword, besides Cinderace and Sparky. Zaxina, the legendary Pokemon. I caught, I was like, yo, this is cool. And then I'm like, I caught you a bit too easy, not gonna lie. And then Eternus was cool, like the design, and then the whole, you know, event that you're catching him, like the, not event, what would you call it then? I guess event in the game. I had originally had Crovenite on my team and Obstagoon. They got replaced whenever, you know. Took me 2 times to beat the Elite Four. I remember I was going through, that was one of my favorite rounds of ever playing the Elite Four, fighting the Elite Four in any Pokemon game. Because it was just like, it was a good challenge, but it wasn't like stress inducing. That's for the next Switch game, but Leon, okay, Leon, I ain't gonna lie, Leon destroyed my team. If it wasn't like as bad as Mewtwo, but he got me, I was like, okay. I just trained some more, caught some more Pokemon. Then I fought him again, and then I won. My next Pokemon Switch game was Pokemon Shining Pearl. I love Pokemon Shining Pearl. I didn't mind the chibi design a bit. I know a lot of people didn't like it, which I understand. I didn't grow up with Diamond and Pearl. Like, I mean, they came out when I was born, but I was like 2 or 3 when they came out, so I didn't grow up playing them. But I enjoyed Pokemon Shining Pearl. I like what it had to offer. I didn't mind the chibi design a bit. I didn't mind it at all. My team consists of, in Shining Pearl, of course, Infernape, Staraptor, Luxray, Machoke, Palkia, and Gastrodon. This team mainly stayed the same. Like, there's no real switches. Like, maybe with Palkia, I had a Pokemon, but I generally don't remember what Pokemon I switched out with Palkia. I'm so sorry about the light glare. There we go. That's a bit better. However, this was the game. Oh my God, the Elite Four in this game is so hard. And if you know who I'm talking about. It's Cynthia, bro. Oh my God. It took me 12 tries. 12 tries to beat the Elite Four. Like, since I got to them in July of 23, since I got to this game, Christmas of 22, July of 23, that's when I first fought the Elite Four. And then interspersely throughout the months, whenever I'd have the mood, I'd fight the Elite Four, get wrecked by Cynthia, get wrecked by Cynthia, get wrecked by Cynthia, over and over and over and over, until one of the most like intense gaming moments I've ever had. And I'm not like a hardcore gamer, but still, this had me in a chokehold, man. It was February 2024. I fought the Elite Four. It was an intense battle with Cynthia, bro. Because at this point, I wasn't even getting past her easy Pokemon, and her team's strong. I didn't even face her infamous Garchomp or anything. I was just getting destroyed by her Milotic and her Razor, and I'm like, oh my God. And then, Lucario, I was like, oh God. So when I went up against this, it was a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of switching. There's a lot of, hey, you take this, you take the hit for this, you take the hit for this. And then I was like, Palkia. I was like, okay. I put out Palkia. I'm like, please, let my move go first and don't dodge. Garchomp, I beg of you. I was like, Palkia, use Spatial Bind. And it instantly one-shotted Garchomp. Bro, I was like, except like hyperventilating out of sight. I'm like, oh my God, I finally beat Cynthia after so many tries. But nah, bro, mad respect to Cynthia. I see why she was like, whenever people talk about Pokemon, they're like, that's one of the hardest Elite Four in the game. Because, oh my God, one of the hardest Elite Four ones. Because Cynthia, like, I heard about the memes about her team being hard, but I'm like, can't be that hard. Bro, Garchomp is just a beast, bro. Like, oh my God, he took out so many of my Pokemon on so many tries, but when I finally was able to beat Cynthia, I was so happy. And I'm still doing post-game stuff, as in most of these games. I don't think I've even finished a Pokedex in any of these games. I know, but I plan to do it soon, okay? I've been working on it, I set myself a goal. I'm like, throughout the next couple months or so, whenever I choose a Pokemon game, try to finish the national Pokédex at least, because I haven't really caught a lot of Pokemon in any of the games. Well, besides Ultra Sun, Omega Ruby for 3DS, and Let's Go Pikachu for the Switch. Otherwise, I mainly catch a couple and mainly do battles and the story mode stuff. But I've been enjoying the game nonetheless. This is going to be quick. It's Pokemon Violet. I have not touched this game in like a year and a half. I got this for my 17th birthday in 2024. And yeah, the bugs are pretty bad, I'm not going to lie. So I don't know when's the next time I'm ever going to resume this game. I generally do not know. And that was a look at all of my Pokemon games that I have as of 2025. As more and more games come out, I plan to get some more, as well as play some old ones for the first time, because, I didn't grow up with them. Pokemon's one of those franchises everyone at least has one or two games they grew up playing with. And it's a franchise that I hold near and dear close to me. And though through its ups and downs and some of its interesting members, I am proud of being a Pokemon fan. Pokemon Go, always and forever.